It really is very difficult to imagine President Obama traveling all the way to Moscow to shake hands with Putin in the Kremlin while Edward Snowden is somewhere in the same city or at least in the same country. Obama just could not afford to do that politically or diplomatically. It would have been a real sign of weakness. There is also the problem that the two sides are so far apart on so many important issues, including nuclear disarmament, including Syria, that a bilateral summit it's difficult to see what that would accomplish. Probably nothing, and it would probably turn out to be yet another awkward meeting between the two men.
Saying that, Obama will still be going to St. Petersburg for the G20.
That's right. The G20 is a different type of animal. It involves 20 countries, of course, as its name indicates, the most industrialized countries in the world. It has become perhaps the major diplomatic gathering of the year, along with the UN General Assembly in September. And Obama could hardly afford to skip that, and in a way make all these other countries pay for the problem with Moscow. But the G20 can also serve another purpose, as U.S.-Russia relations expert Matthew Rojansky recently told France 24.
He can go. I think it may be a very unproductive meeting, to be quite frank, but I think you got to keep the door open. And I think if it is the case that this is a temporary flare-up in hostility between Russia and the United States, which is possible, I think it serves domestic purposes in Russia right now, then the summit in September might be, if you will, the autumn cooling wind, the thing that sort of allows these flames to die out and maybe enter into a kind of a more normal, more stable period later in the fall and in the winter. I hope that would be the case.
So, Eduardo, where do you see the US-Russia relationship going in the short term?
Well, as Mr. Rojansky just said, it's difficult to imagine that this will continue to heat up. In fact, on Friday, the U.S. Secretary of State and Defense are meeting with their counterparts in Washington in a meeting that has been set for a long time, but that has not been canceled. So the relationship will go on. It's impossible for it not to go on. It just can't be frozen completely. And we'll see if now that Obama has made his point, if the two sides try to work out together to cool things down and get this relationship back on track.